My name is Nagina and I am 19 years old. My height is 5 feet 6 inches and I am very beautiful to look at. I have a fair complexion and a full body. Whoever sees me once keeps staring at me. My parents got me married to a person whom I did not like. It was our wedding night and my behavior towards my husband was extremely rude. The reason for me not being afraid of this was that my husband was from the middle class while I was from the high class and was financially stronger than him. I told my husband in clear words that I cannot give my body to you. If you force me, I will destroy your life and make your life hell because I do not love you. My husband said, "Who told you that I will force you?" And he came a little closer to me and said that he was your past. You loved him but now you are married. You are still pure. Loving is not a secret. I too had fallen in love with you. No one can control the heart. It does not work at any time, it can happen to anyone. You are my wife. After marriage, you are now halal for me. I am ready to accept you. Now you too will have to forget this. Now you are my wife. I said there is no need to call me wife. If I have married you, it is only on the insistence of my parents and my marriage with you is just a sham. I have been married under compulsion by my family. My husband said that you should not deny this. I cannot deny that you are my wife. We had a long argument. I said that my marriage with you is just my compulsion and it would have been better to marry a donkey than to marry you and not you. If you really love me and want to see me happy, then please leave me. After listening to me, he moved a little away from me and said, "Okay, I have heard what you said. Listen to me once and remember this for the rest of your life." I said, "Tell me." Now he remained silent for some time and then said, "He said that I love you and I cannot even imagine hurting you. I will not even touch you without your consent." After this, he took out his blanket from the cupboard and went to sleep separately on the sofa. Then I did not even know when I fell asleep at night. When the morning dawned, he was not in the room. I also got up quickly and the gift he had given me was lying on the floor and the amount of meher which was ours 0000. I kept both of them in the drawer of the bed, took off the jewelry and went to take a bath, and then later I went to my room. I came and sat in the room. Meanwhile other relatives also came. There were aunt and uncles of my husband. I had my first breakfast with them at my in-laws' place. After some time my sisters-in-law also came and each one of them started asking me, "How was your first night? What gift did your husband give?" etc., etc. I gave my usual answers to everyone. It was okay since our houses were close to each other. Therefore, the wedding reception was held before the departure, after which the rest of the marriage rituals were performed. It was the second night of the wedding. I was lying in my husband's room, so he slept next to me, which I did not like. I said, "Your place is there on the sofa," so he said, "What is the harm in sleeping here?" I said, "Okay, you sleep here, I will sleep on the sofa." Then my husband said, "There is no need, you sleep, I will sleep on the sofa myself." On the third day, I got a chance and called my aunt's son. He started crying and said, "You cheated me by promising to stay with me. Now you will spend your nights with someone else." I explained to him that nothing like this happened between us. I did not even let my husband touch me. I only love you and see, we both will become one very soon. This marriage will not last long. When I will be yours, I will be your kamwar. For the next 1 week, he kept trying to get me, but I did not let him come close to me. No one except the three of us knew this. My father passed away 10 days after the marriage. I was scared of that, and all the relatives of my husband had also gone away, and after 2 weeks of the marriage he too went to Multan. Now my mother-in-law, my father-in-law and my husband's uncle's family lived in the house. The family was not too big and everyone took good care of me. One night I was feeling sleepy in my room and I was reminiscing the past, and then I remembered that my husband had given me a gift and also some money. When I opened the drawer of the bed, that gift and my rightful meher amount of 50,000 rupees was lying there. When I opened the gift, there was a smartphone in it. I was very happy to get it because I needed a smartphone. I took the money and kept it in my purse. I had a lot of money with me because no one had asked me for the money I had received on the occasion of my marriage. Now I used to talk to my aunt's son, whom I loved, every day. I used to talk to him first thing in the morning, in the afternoon and at night till bedtime. After a few days, he said that he needed some money and I would give it to him later. I said, "Tell me how much you want." He said 20,000 rupees. I sent him 40,000 rupees from my rightful meher amount and said, "I don't need it. You fulfill your needs." My husband used to come home only for 2 days after 10 days, but my attitude towards him had not changed and I had said that our marriage will not last long, so you cannot do anything to me. To the extent that he never allowed me to miss anything. He used to give me 1,000 rupees per month and used to bring shoes and clothes for me. Clothes and shoes were very expensive, which I did not value. I would lend them to a friend and sometimes give them to someone else. When I was feeling sleepy at home, I asked a friend for a solution and he told me that I should start studying further. It will help in passing the time. Till now my education was still matriculation. My matriculation marks were 810. Told my mother-in-law that she wanted to study further. She flatly refused. Then I pressurized my husband and he agreed and convinced his mother too. He got me admitted in Punjab College, which was 25 kilometers from our house, and the bus used to come to pick us up daily. I started my further studies with FSC, but my attitude towards my husband did not change. Whenever he used to call me, I used to talk to him harshly and say, "Whatever you want to say, otherwise turn off the phone." On his return on weekdays, he used to bring me with him from college. In college also, 2-3 girls had become good friends of mine, but they did not know about my life. Whenever he used to come to pick me up, they used to tell me that your husband is very good. He takes so much care of you and only the lucky ones get such life partners, and I used to say yes, it is okay. It had been 3 months since our marriage, but I had never even talked to him lovingly. Anyway, he also never tried to force me to stay in our marriage for 4 months. It happened that my second aunt's daughter got married and she lives in Bahawalpur city. My husband also had good relations with his aunt. She considered my husband as her son. And my husband and his aunt's son were also good friends. My husband asked me on the phone if I would go to the wedding, but I said no, I am busy with studies. I am not going. You go. After this, my aunt's son, whom I love, he told me that he is also coming to the wedding with his mother because his mother and my aunt were cousins. I said that earlier I was not coming, but now I will come. He said that I will wait for you. I said I will also come. Then at night I called my husband and said that I will also shout at the wedding. My aunt and my husband had gone to the wedding. We had gone to the wedding 3 days before. My aunt had not come yet. She came the next day. I was meeting my love face to face after 2.5 years. I met him in a room. We quarreled with each other. Now we used to live in front of each other while my husband was busy with his cousin who was also his friend. My aunt's son, whom I loved, used to meet me daily, and we often used to meet alone on the roof. I did not like his intentions, but I ignored them because I loved him very much. Once we were talking together on the roof. He gifted me a ring. Seeing this, I became very happy and he gave me a ring. He was touching me inappropriately and was also talking rudely. He said that what we can do after marriage, why not before marriage? I said no, I don't want this. Then he forcibly brought me close to him and started touching me here and there, which I objected to and also tried to stop him, but he did not stop. For some time I kept resisting and tried to distance myself from him, but then I surrendered myself to him. Only a minute or two had passed when my husband came there. And he saw me with him. My husband saw me alone with my cousin on the terrace at night. My husband came to me. Before I could say anything to him, he slapped me once and was about to hit me again when my cousin, my maternal aunt's son, came between him and me and stopped him and said, "How dare you hit her?" My husband said, "She is my wife. Get away from me or else I will do such a thing to you that you will remember it all your life." My cousin said, "I love her," and he caught my husband's collar. My husband was physically stronger than my cousin. My husband slapped him on the head and blood started flowing from his head. I came in front of my husband and started telling him, "Are you in the right mind? Why are you hitting me?" As soon as I said these words, my husband slapped me again hard and I fell down. Then he caught me by the arms and started walking down. Before going down, he said to my cousin, "I will see you later." When we came down to our room, my husband said that whatever I have to do with you, I will do it after going home, not here. We were going to return after 3 days, but in the morning my husband said that we are robbing again today itself. He did not listen to anyone and we robbed the house on the same day. After coming home, at night there was a lot of debate and argument between us. He said some things to me and I told him a lot of things. In the end, whatever I wanted, I told him that now I want a divorce from him. I cannot live with you even for a minute. He said, "I cannot do this at all." I said, "If you do not divorce me, I will go to the court and divorce myself." He remained silent for some time. After that, whatever he said made me lose my senses. He told me that I do not want to live with you all my life. I also have a right to be happy. I loved you so much that I cannot even imagine hurting you. But if you want a divorce, then go and ask your father that I am getting a divorce. After giving you a divorce, if your father or your family told me something or asked me for an explanation for the divorce, then I will tell them the truth. If you want a divorce from me, then you will have to give me a guarantee once that no questions will be asked from your family. I knew that the way I have treated my husband and the way I am treating him, if my family comes to know about it, then my father will definitely not leave me. After 2 days, my husband returned to Multan, while on the other side, my cousin's anger was raging. But he said that I am not going to leave your husband, now I will kill him. I told him that I do not want to kill my husband. My cousin, who was very angry, was abusing my husband and saying that I will not leave him now, whereas my husband did this to me. I never heard such a thing from his mouth. My husband does not follow the limits of manners even in the state of anger. He knew how to respect a woman very well. After this, my cousin started to contact my husband on phone. He did not go back to Karachi with his mother. Instead, he started living with his elder brother in Lodhra city. They had two houses, one in Lodhra and the other in Karachi. Disputes started to increase between my husband and my cousin. In this, my husband started to stay away from me. He used to come home after 10 days a week. Now he used to come after many weeks. He used to talk to me 2-3 times a week on mobile. Now he used to call after many days. On the other hand, my cousin's attitude towards me started to become bad. He started talking to me in weird ways and was continuously demanding love from me. This time I strictly refused. Now I did not even feel like talking to my cousin on phone. He kept threatening me that he has to take revenge from my husband. He will not leave him. I kept explaining to him that I should not kill him because he never hurt me. Did not cause any trouble. When he did not agree, then I again told him that if you cause even the slightest trouble to my husband, then I will not leave you. For sure, I am explaining to you that give me some time. I will choose a different direction from my husband and come to you. My cousin said, you will not leave me for the sake of your husband. See what I do with him now. And he disconnected the phone, but I was scared that he might do something to my husband. I called up my husband the next day and told him that my cousin told me, I will take revenge from your husband. I will not leave him. Please don't fool him. My husband started laughing and said, since when have you started worrying about me? You also want the same thing. I said, I don't want to harm you. He did not listen to me and switched off his mobile. After this, my cousin called my husband to meet alone at a deserted place. I don't know what he told my husband, and my husband went to meet him alone, while my cousin had also brought one of his friends with him, which I came to know later. I don't know what happened between my husband and my cousin, but in this very meeting, my husband and my cousin had a fight. In this fight, my cousin's arm was broken, while my cousin fired a bullet at my husband, due to which my husband was badly injured, while my cousin and his friend ran away from there. My husband was shot and my cousin and his friend ran away from there. I came to know about this from a class fellow of my college. I got to know that he took my husband to the hospital with the help of his brother and called me and informed me because I was not going to Kali for some days. When he called me and told me this, I got very scared. For a moment, I thought that everything was over because I wanted to separate from my husband, but in return, I did not want to harm him in any way. I hurriedly called my second aunt's son, who was also my husband's friend, and he said that he already found out. And I am going there, but don't tell this to anyone right now. And he took my husband to a private hospital in Multan. I was calling and asking repeatedly. My uncle's son said that he has brought him to the hospital. His operation will take place at night, but he is still alive. Just pray. At this time I prayed for my husband's life. Then in the morning I talked to my uncle's son. He said that the operation was done at night, but he has not regained consciousness yet. I asked him the address of the hospital and left for Multan alone on the pretext of going to college. I reached the hospital around 10 o'clock. When I reached, my husband had not regained consciousness. There was another friend of his with him who then went out for some time. My uncle's son started getting angry at me and said, who told you to come here? If something happens to him, I will not leave you. But I remained silent. I did not answer any of his words. After about 1.5 hours, my husband regained consciousness. His condition was very bad. I was crying after seeing his condition. He told me. He said, you should not have come here, and he asked me if my parents know about this. I said no. Then he strictly forbade me, saying that my parents should not know about this. They cannot see me in this condition. If I die, then tell them, but till you are alive they should not know about this. They cannot see their son in this condition and I do not want them to face any pain. So please keep your mouth shut. I said okay, I am. I sat there for some time, then he asked me to go back home. So I told him to take care of himself. He said, since when did you start worrying about me? You also want that I leave this world soon and you get freedom. And by the way, the plan of both of you was good, but luckily I survived. I started crying and said that I did not want to kill you. I definitely wanted to say goodbye to you, but I do not want to harm you in return. Before returning, I told my aunt's son to take care of my husband. Then he said that he is not only my cousin but also my friend and I will leave him and run away. I am with him till he gets well. You go without worry. Whereas he had dropped me from Multan to home on the instructions of my husband, and on the same night I got a call from my aunt's son. So I took out all my anger on him that I had stopped you not to do anything to him. Then he said, be thankful that he is saved. After which I had a big argument with him, which later became a matter of disagreement between us. This also became the reason for me to go to Multan to meet my husband every third day, while my husband would tell me that he does not need me and you should not come here, and on returning from Multan my uncle's son would drop me home, and on the other hand my differences with my cousin started increasing, who would call him in the morning and evening. Now even though I felt like calling him, but I did not feel like talking to him, and my only wish was that my husband should get well soon and come home, and I felt like talking to my husband all the time. My heart was filled with grief for my cousin because his attitude had become very bad. I started to feel that whatever my father did with me was absolutely right. The life partner that my father chose for me was really worthy of me, and my father did a great favor to me by not giving me the boy of my choice. I was a little angry with my father. Now I was happy with this decision of my father. One day I told my cousin that now you will have to accept that I am someone else's wife and now I can never be yours. I loved you, but you wanted my body and not me. Whereas my husband, after I stopped him, never forced me, let alone talk to me rudely. You have crossed all limits and now I am going to accept my husband and I am going to give him the right that he has on me, and you should forget me and never call me again, and I wish that you get a girl better than me. Then he said, you cannot leave me. I will die without you. When I continuously denied his words, he started blackmailing me and said to me, if you leave me and give your husband your rights, then I will not leave you. I have the recording of all your phone calls and I will send your photos to your family and your father. I said, you cannot do this. He replied, if I can shoot your husband for your sake, then think about this recording, and sending the photos to your father is not a difficult task for me. I tried to explain it to him a lot, but when he did not listen to me, I accepted my defeat and promised him that I will not have any relation with my husband, because if he had sent everything to my father would have surely killed me. Within a week or two, my husband had recovered to a great extent. After that he came home, but no one knew. He was completely normal. He just did not go out much and mostly stayed at home. But during this time, even though I wanted to, I did not let him come close to me because I was already afraid. My husband told me, okay, if you do not want to accept me, then divorce me and go to your home. This will give you freedom and later you can marry whoever you want. I was guilty, but in those days, I could not face my husband and did not answer anything he said. After a week, my husband went back. Now my cousin started blackmailing me a lot and asked for 200 Hajj from me and said that if you do not give it, then this evidence will reach your father. I sent him 200 Hajj and asked for all the proofs, in response to which he said that this is not a proof. It is your neck which you can twist whenever you want. By now, I was also fed up with him and was looking for a way through which I could get rid of my cousin and get the proof as well. My cousin was constantly harassing me and had also resorted to blackmailing me. I was fed up with it and now I started hating myself. I was beginning to realize that I loved a person who didn't want me. He just wanted my body and nothing else, and on the other side was my husband who respected me so much that no one respects even his mother. Now I was realizing when my hatred for my husband turned into love. After a few days, my cousin asked me for 500 rupees and said that he wanted to buy a bike. Give me 1,000 rupees. When I refused, he threatened me saying that you don't know me. I will ruin your life if you don't give me money. I said I am ashamed that I loved a person like you. You have seen my love but not my hatred. You don't even know me. What can I do with you? Well, my sore spot was in his hands. I couldn't say much to him. So I told him that I don't have money right now. Give me 5 days. I will send you the money. He said just 5 days or else I will send everything to your father on the 6th day. Now I had to get rid of my cousin and also teach him a lesson. One night passed thinking about it, but I couldn't understand what to do next. I thought that Pakistan FIA security is the only solution to this. They can save me. I contacted the FIA cybercrime people and told them everything and put a condition that my complete anonymity will be maintained to the extent that it should not even be told that I have filed the application. They called me to the office. I said I cannot come to the office. We met in Multan. There we were 2 officers. I went to meet them. The officers were very good and honest. They were there and I talked to my cousin in front of them and handed over all the facts and evidence to the officers. They assured me that he will be caught within 2 days. I told those officers to give me all the evidence and when he is arrested, make sure that I talk to him one last time. They said okay, we will talk to him but the evidence will be given to you after some time. I came back home again. 3 days later, my cousin was caught by the FIA cybercrime security and the officers made me talk to him as per their promise. I said that I loved you very much and kept fighting with my husband for your sake. She said that you did not treat me well. Now I will tell everything to your father. I said that now you do not have any evidence. Now if you tell them, then I will blame you and after that my family will not leave you, not me. Now I will rot in jail for some time. By then I will have accepted my husband. She said that I will not forget anything, wait for me. After this the officers said that now you can't worry, we will live a good life. I will serve him. I told them not to kill him, just keep him in jail for some time, and this way, to save myself from disrepute and for my own protection, I got my own love arrested. Here, you should remember this thing that when difficulties knock at the door, then all the promises and beliefs that were arrested, ended. Now even the thought of my cousin was going out of my mind. Now, what I had done was, I had done this to my husband. Now I regretted it a lot. Whenever I used to sit alone at night and remember my mother, I would cry for my actions. I used to think what was my husband's fault that I tortured him so much. It was his fault that he loved me and what did I do to him? Whenever I needed something, he fulfilled it. After my father, the one who protected me was my husband. The one who fulfilled all my needs was my husband. The one who helped me in every difficult time was my husband. And what did I give in return for all that? Only betrayal. He did not even touch me even after I stopped him. And if there was someone else in his place, he would have definitely tortured me. If he did not kill me, then he would have definitely hidden all my foolishness and negligence. But my husband kept a secret. He did not even tell his parents that I was shot and I was on the brink of death. Whenever this thought came to my mind, I used to think that my husband is really a man. He has such a big heart. And what did I do to this person? His only fault is that he loved me. That is his only mistake. Well, now I had to get my husband back. Now I had to apologize to him. My husband went to Karachi from Multan. I kept pleading him to come home and he told me humans make mistakes. Don't worry. I have only loved you in my life and I never imagined anyone else. While in this very time Pakistan had imposed lockdown and my husband was in Karachi at that time. I requested him a lot to loot the house but he did not come. Now my life had completely changed. Now the college was also closed. I used to stay alone in the house all day because I like loneliness and I do not like to mingle with anyone. And on the other hand, I was under a lot of pressure from my in-laws and my family, especially my mother and father, that your husband is angry with you. What did you tell him that he did not come home? Now all my hopes were on my husband. While the differences between us had become very intense, one day my husband called me and said, "Wait for me and the day I come, be ready for a divorce." Earlier I myself wanted a divorce. Now on hearing the word divorce from his mouth, my existence would tremble. I told my husband clearly that I do not want a divorce from you. Now nobody can separate me from you. Now I love only you. Now I have left everything behind and have got my cousin arrested for shooting you. Although I have told my husband that I do not want a divorce from you. I kept the matter of blackmailing printed but our distance kept increasing. Now he would call me only twice a month, one of which was on the 5th when he would send me money. At night, whenever I remembered what I had done, I had nothing to do except cry. Well, time passed and the year 2020, the month of Ramadan arrived and I too saw a ray of hope that now my husband would definitely come home on Eid. Time passed and Eid came closer. My father was also on Eid holidays. He had come home to spend time with me. He would also ask me when will my husband come. I would say he will come on Eid, but on the other hand my husband clearly refused to come home on Eid. Despite my many prayers and efforts, my husband did not come home and our Eid too was spent in loneliness, and after Eid my family's pressure on me increased that what happened that your husband did not come and what is the resentment between you two. My husband was shot. My father came to know about this and he also scolded me that what have you done? I started crying but I did not tell my father what I did to my husband and pleaded to my father that no one else should know about this. Well, time passed. I also felt that maybe his anger is temporary and he will get better, but what did I know? I was now lost. I remembered my husband every moment, every pill. But now whatever I had done to him, maybe this was my punishment. Well, Eid al-Adha of the year 2020 came closer. So he was asking me to come home. When he got ready, happiness came back on my withered face and my husband reached home 5 days before Eid, but this time he had not brought anything for me, neither clothes nor anything else for me. On the first night he slept temporarily. I too did not say anything to him, thinking that maybe he slept because of the fatigue of the journey. On the second day in the afternoon I got a chance to talk to him. So I apologized to him and started crying in front of him that please forgive me for whatever I did to you. He replied with a kiss, sorry for everything. What have you done? Why are you asking for forgiveness? I said, I am handing myself over to you. You have a right over me and I have a right over you. He said, not now, everything is over, now only divorce will happen between us. Now I cannot accept you, my status is very low in your eyes. Do you remember or should I remind you? The words you spoke on the wedding night, every word you spoke always rings in my ears till today. My mistake is that I loved you. I just thought that he is angry and will agree, although now he was hesitant to even touch me. Now you were craving for this gift too. I tried my best to get him but could not succeed and Eid passed. I could see everything ending from my life and all my efforts failed. My husband said that I will never accept you. There are two ways. Come to you. Take a divorce from me and go to your home and marry whoever you want, and the second way. If you do not take a divorce from me, then I myself will divorce you and marry someone else. Now I will do as you deem fit. I do not wish to develop any kind of relationship with you. And after that he went back to Karachi some 2 weeks after Eid. Now I am tired of my life. I have no more courage now. I am tired of fighting with my life. Now I have no courage to fight any kind of difficulty. I have lost my love for my life. I have already lost it, and now my last hope, which was my husband, that hope has also died, because if I get divorced then my life will be destroyed and no one will marry me. Then suddenly my husband felt pity. God knows from where this thought came in his heart, and he forgave me, and we are living our life happily. The one whom we love. We put everything on him. The real face is revealed only later, and you should not be fooled, and neither should you be afraid of anyone. If someone is blackmailing us, then we should definitely take someone's help. So how did you like this story? More good stories will be uploaded, so please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.